Hello and welcome back to the second part of the show with me, Ian Pelham Turner, on ALB UK Television and positivebritain.co.uk. This is the Voice of London, and we have Simone Vincenzi with us this afternoon, who is really an expert on business in all senses. So, right, tell me first of all, how did you first start in doing this type of work? What's your background?
My background as any good Italian, coming to the UK, working as a waiter.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. But actually, I love working in the catering industry. Absolutely. I started working there when I was 14.
Really?
And I loved it so much that at 15 I wanted to quit school.
Really?
Mom didn't allow me to, fortunately. And then I arrived here in the UK, received a job offer to work in a Michelin-star restaurant in Notting Hill Gate.
Really?
And that's where the passion for business started. Because for me, working in a restaurant wasn't just about serving people, making people happier. That was a part of it. But it was the entire management of the business, the attracting customers, when a customer would come in and they wanted maybe to eat a pizza, persuade them to get a steak and a bottle of wine.
Sure.
And all that. And that's where the first passion started.
And did you see options even at that time of how to grow a business as well? Because obviously it's what we know is called upselling,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Exactly.
which is selling more than the customer originally thought that they would enjoy. Did you see a lot of opportunities for upselling at that time? Did you think that businesses were underperforming, underselling?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm an idea person. I come with a creative juice. That's what now businesses hire me for. In every restaurant I was working in, I was always thinking, well, but if we serve this dish here, or if we put that in the menu at this point, or when we were training the other waiters, training them in explaining the menu so that people will want actually to buy a certain dish compared to another. Or a lot of time in a restaurant is also about stock management. Because if you have some food that they need to go out that night, or they need to be finished in 24 hours, you need to be able to sell it. Otherwise, you're going to throw it away and lose a bunch of money there. Yeah. So that's where a big passion started.
So did you then train in business itself as well? So that when you advise, I know you're very successful in what you do these days. You've got thousands of potential clients and people that you talk to at the same time who are business people. Can I just ask a question? Because obviously you will probably be looking at the temperature of where British business is right now, and especially small businesses are at. Where do you think business is at the moment? Are they truly worried? Or are you getting lots of businesses who are truly worried about the future? What's the feeling?
Mixed feeling, very mixed feeling. You have, there is the extreme part of I'm terrified about what's going on, I'm frozen, I don't know what to do anymore, to then the other extreme with, oh my God, I'm excited about the new opportunities that this whole situation is creating, and the fact that almost like what COVID did, it leveled the playing field. And where now a small business is actually even more opportunities than before. And so depending on the business owner and how risk averse they are and how they are wired, then the responses are very similar. But what I gotta say, the majority is in a situation where they hope for the best. It's like, oh my God, there are opportunities coming. But right now, I'm scared.
Do you think there's a lot of confusion in business right now as well? Do you help to try and remove the smoke and mirrors that are going on and try and give really good advice to businesses?
Oh, absolutely. There is a lot of confusion. In any period of transition, which we are now, we are in the creation of a new global economy. What was working before is not working anymore now. In those moments, confusion is there. Because maybe businesses have been successful with a particular marketing strategy or sales strategy for till now, and then
it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And so every time you're trying to figure it out what to do next, then the confusion happens. And so what we are doing is looking with every business, see what opportunities do you have right now, what do you need to stop doing, because in this process it's about letting go of things that are not working anymore, but it's difficult after so much that you've becomes part of the way the business runs.
Do you foresee a lot of people losing their jobs now? Is that the feeling that's coming, that is feeding through? And the fear factor amongst small businesses especially, they don't know how to survive, I think, at the same time. And you know, even this period, you know, is there a lot of fear amongst business right now?
There is a lot of fear. Fear mainly because of the uncertainty and the fact that, you know, if you have been in an industry that has been affected, then you see a huge decrease or almost like stop in revenues. And I can tell you, you asked me before, like, what was my first business experience? And after restaurants, my business partner and I started an event company, GTeX.
Okay.
Now we've been running 200 events a year since the start of the company.
Gosh.
Now we are in our 8th year.
Yes.
So can do the math, it's quite a large number of events.
Absolutely. So has that had to go virtual because of...
That had to go virtual, and I would be lying saying that we didn't suffer the loss of huge revenues.
Yeah.
Because all our business was set up in events, in the physical space. So we worked really hard to change the business, to move virtually. And we are still in the process of making some of the changes. The company, fortunately, is still working, is still going. Really happy about that. Yeah. But I've felt it. I felt on my skin the effect of COVID. One of our business, we have 3 businesses. Another business that we have, we lost a lot because we're offering recruitment services to airports and Formula One.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They ain't going right now. So it is, there is fear, there is uncertainty, and for a small business point of view, I think the worry is a lot of times not even about themselves, but how am I going to pay my staff members?
When you're personally faced with issues like that, how do you deal with it?
Jack Daniels and vodka? No, I haven't done that road.
Not the Italian way. Not Sicilian wine. I thought this was going to be Sicilian wine.
We need something stronger. Sicilian wine is what you get on a good time, a good day. That's what I think this becomes the moment where the real entrepreneurs come out.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship, in its definition, and what an entrepreneur does, is finding solution to problems.
Yeah.
There are a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
Therefore, there are a lot of solutions to be found.
Yeah.
And so I think that in my case, there were days where I just naturally needed to slow down because I had too much to deal with.
Yeah.
And there were other days where I was fired up and looking at, you know, we can change this, we can improve that part.
Yeah.
And we actually improved a lot of different aspects of the business that we were not able to do before because we're always on the road running events.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was becoming really, how can we focus on what we can do and what we can control right now to set up a strong foundation for the future.
Yeah. So what do you think makes a good entrepreneur? What makes a good business in your eyes?
There are so many factors. Like entrepreneurship, that's the beauty of it. It's almost like an artist.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be good at one thing.
Yeah.
You need to be good at creating the entire painting.
Yeah.
And for me, an entrepreneur is someone that is creative, that have ideas, is someone who can see opportunities, is someone who has a lot of stamina and grit, because you get to your doors slam in front of your face every single day multiple times. So you need to have that resilience and the strength. And then someone who actually is financially literate, because that's the difference between having a hobby and having a business. A lot of people, they think they have a business when they have a hobby. So these are the qualities that I would say.
So do you think passion, does Italian passion comes into your business as well? Are you passionate about your businesses?
What do you think? What do you think?
What do I think?
What do you think? Passion is key.
Yes.
Passion is key to move forward. But you can be a businessman and be in a good opportunity that you're maybe not passionate about. You know,
Yes.
I know plenty of people, really good business people, and for them, their business is the things that they do, not the thing that they're most passionate about.
Yeah.
I cannot run that way.
Yeah.
I need to love and adore what I'm doing,
Yeah.
so I can put my Italianness, what would you say, into the business.
Are you a risk taker yourself? Do you take risks? Have you taken risks in the past to actually develop what you want to develop?
I am, all the time. All the time I'm a risk taker. Unfortunately, I'm surrounded by people that are not, so they can balance me. Because being a risk taker can be a good thing,
Yes.
until it's not a good thing anymore, until you take too many risks. And it's important to take in risk, but it's important to take calculated risks. And that was been a lot of the mistakes I've done in the past, where I would jump into something because I'm the belief that you say yes and then you figure out.
Yeah.
And then sometimes end up being expensive lessons.
Do you ever have doubts? Because, I mean, people like myself, and I suspect it's the same with you as well, without sounding arrogant, I always know I'm going to win. And so when I do something, it's never failed. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
understand
I
that
understand
concept? Do you have that same sort of feeling that, you know, in your heart of hearts, everything that you do, you know is going to win? Or, you know, do you sort of hold back these days? How do you feel in a situation like you are in right now?
Is similar to how I felt before. I never thought that I was going to win anyway. I'm not the kind of person. I will go in and do everything I can to make it work, knowing that everything I do is a test. Because the moment I get attached to the result or to the outcome, that's the moment where I lose sight of what else could happen or what else could work. And so I treat everything like a test. Therefore, I can't fail. That's how I cope with things. And you know, if sometimes it works, most of the time doesn't.
Yeah.
But I don't care because I'm looking at the one that worked.
Absolutely. So with your conference work, so what type of things do you do? What type of conferences do you actually do?
So at the beginning, we were having a lot of conferences where we were getting speakers to talk about business, because it was something I was really passionate about, but I wasn't senior enough or good enough in business to talk about business. And so what we did, we organized conferences where we had other business speakers come in, and then we were hosting. And then the more our business grew and the more we expanded in starting different business and investing in companies, then that's where we started talking about business. And now a lot of the events that we run, whether it's myself, my business partner, or some of our team members, then the work that we do is to give the small business owners not only the hope that they need to make something work, but also the tools, the skills, the community, that feedback. Because when you're starting a business, you know, you're very close to the picture. And it's easy to miss something that is obvious.
Yeah.
Someone else, an external
Absolutely.
eye, can say, you know what? Why
Common sense. Common sense.
But common sense, when it's
It's
something...
in short supply.
And I gotta say, even a lot of things in my business, I need other people to look at it. Not because I'm bad at business, but because I can only see what I can see.
Absolutely. So do you work with startups as well? Do you help startups at the same time, or do they have to be established businesses?
The majority of the business that we work with are startups. That's
Okay.
the majority of the businesses that we work with. And then we have another small number of scale-ups that we're working to help them grow and scale and then sell even eventually at one point. What I love about working with startups is getting someone that has a dream into a reality. For me, that there is no better thing in the world as someone coming to me and said, you know, that idea that I had, look at this. That makes my day.
I mean, I get it. I used to be a business mentor myself at one time, and with startups, but I used to get all the crazy ones. You know, they'd got some money, and before you know it, they'd spent it. You know, it might be on a car. Or, you know, they didn't realise that the money was for the business. So, you know, when you're advising startups right now, what do you look for in a good startup business?
I'm looking first at the entrepreneur. are they able to keep going when things get tough? That's the number one thing, because majority of people quit. So are you someone that keeps going? That's number one.
Yeah.
Secondly, is your idea something that you are the only person that likes that idea?
Sure. Yeah.
Or there is a market for
Yeah,
it? And thirdly, I'm looking at how unique is the idea. Like, is that just a different copy of someone else's work?
Yeah.
Or is something that can make a difference in your industry, can make a difference in your field?
Yeah.
And then the last thing is how willing are you to adapt and change? Because business is all about changing. You're changing all the time.
Yes.
We've seen it with COVID and all the situation. We had to change, and with no notice.
Yep.
With 24 hours, our lives has changed. Our businesses have changed.
Absolutely. Are you a great favourite of business plans? Do you like business plans? I always remember I had to do a business plan once, and this went on for 4 months, this business plan. It was something like about 80 pages in the end for something that I was involved in before. So I get what you're sort of saying, and you're quite right. You know, it's really going through the fundamentals, isn't it, of how unique is the business, what's the USPs, and so forth. But you know, do you think there's too much documentation and not enough inspiration and perspiration?
Absolutely, absolutely. A business plan is worth nothing. An idea is worth nothing. That was one of the best business advice I've ever had. Your idea is worth nothing. It's how you implement and execute it that is worth something. And I remember I spent, I think, a good 3 months to create the first business plan of my business, which I never used, and I never looked back.
No.
And it were like 40 pages of documents. They were useful. A business plan is useful when you're asking for credit, or when you're applying for loans, or when you're applying for... That's useful.
Other business people want to see it. It's always like they've gone through the hell, so why shouldn't you?
That's it. That's what is useful for, but also in particular from banks as well. Yeah. Because if you're looking even for private investors, and they are business people, they know that business plan is worth nothing.
It's just a supposition.
Banks, they're like, oh, we need to see your forecast, your projection, which is important to have, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I think I'm a big believer in flexible plans and more simpler. Everything, a business plan can fit in a page. Then go and execute it and see what works.
Precisely. So what is your forecast for the future at the moment for small businesses in the UK? How do you see this happening over the course of the next year?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I gotta say, there are going to be a lot of people that are not gonna have great moments. And you know, we can all say look at the positive stuff, but the reality is a lot of the small business owners are going to suffer, and a lot of families are going to suffer as a result of that.
Yeah.
On the other side, there are now a lot of new opportunities that are being created.
Yeah.
With the digitalization of every single aspect of a company.
Yeah.
With the expansion of global markets where before maybe you could just serve your local community.
Yeah.
And this process being accelerated. And now with a lot of new countries that are coming in with a much bigger spending power as well, then if someone is now stop thinking more local and start thinking more global, they will have a lot of opportunities. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of opportunities as well on the other side in the micro local.
Yeah.
Because a lot of communities, what COVID created is a stronger bond between the local community. Yeah. So if you are there and you are serving just your local community, you're going to you can have a good run. Yeah. Or then you're going to the other extreme, which is serving the world. Yeah. Everything in between. I predict that's my feeling is going to struggle.
I just wonder, so being Italian as well. So I have this interpretation of Italian sort of families as well. I just wonder, when you look at an entrepreneur, do you look at the family support as well? You know, is there a bit of Italian in you when you're looking at, who's supporting that person besides someone like yourself?
You know what? I never thought about that, but now that you make me think about it, it is true. I was having a call with a client recently, and we're talking about the importance of having your partner on board, of having your family on board in what you're doing. Yeah. Because it's very difficult for an entrepreneur. We're starting something as difficult as running a business. where you're having all the responsibilities coming on you, always having to prove someone else is wrong.
Yeah.
It's very tough when you have your family doesn't support you, your spouse doesn't support you, because they are looking for the moment to say, I told you so, and you're looking for the moment to say, I told you so.
Absolutely.
And that creates conflicts and separation instead of creating unity.
Absolutely.
So I absolutely believe that not everyone is lucky to have their immediate family as a support, but they need to create their own business family that can support them.
I wonder as well, what's your take on high streets right now? Because a lot of high streets, they can't afford the rents anymore. Do you think cottage industries will really sort of take the place of major high street stores? And are we going to become almost going back, I don't know, to the 18th century in Britain? Where cottage industries will thrive.
Yeah. The answer is that I'm not sure. Because it is still too early. If you are looking at the grand scheme of life or the next 10 years in business, we don't know yet how for long COVID is going to be around. Because what we have noticed is that people are easy to forget. If you at the beginning of lockdown, everyone stay home, don't do anything, protect everyone. As soon as the government says no more lockdown, everyone went out not everyone, a lot of people went out like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And so I think that to say high streets are going to die, like some economists are predicting, I think is too soon to say that. Definitely people they had to get used to buy and get serviced online.
Yeah.
Or having maybe their local person, their local community to do deliveries for them. And so getting used to it will mean that there will be more opportunities in that. So the online market will expand even more. Online sales will expand even more. Local sales, micro-local sales will expand even more. But let's say next year, COVID is not around anymore. I can see already people going to the high street and forgetting what happened.
Absolutely. How important is it, American Express did this initiative where if you shopped locally and you used local businesses, they gave a percentage back on the sales. Is that type of initiative the type of thing that you would like to see with small businesses as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything that can support a small business, whether it's an incentive plan or whether it's a cashback plan that big businesses can use to support, then everything is needed, whatever help is needed. Because I think it comes now from the big businesses to be able to support the small businesses, and even you will find that there are going to be a lot of big businesses that will acquire small businesses just because of the flexibility that they have. And that becomes a great way for them to use the cash capital that they have or the resources they have to improve the global economy.
Absolutely. What's the best bit of advice you were ever given?
I love this one. Build your community and your community will build your business.
Okay.
That was the best piece of advice. Now, it was given by an Hungarian man, which got me out of trouble once. I didn't have money to pay my rent.
Okay.
I was starting my company. I was working part-time as a door-to-door fundraiser for charities.
Okay.
I was one of those that were knocking on your door in the afternoon, pitching you a charity subscription.
Yes.
And I needed to move place, but I didn't have any money to move. And I was shopping at this local shop on my organic fruit and vegetables. And he said, you know what, why don't you come and stay in my place, and then when you have the money, you pay me.
Okay.
He's a brilliant businessman. And so we ended up then bartering my rent by working at the shop with him.
Okay.
So say, well, I'll work in the shop 3 days a week for you. And then I don't pay the rent. And he gave me this advice.
How important is survival at times? To know, I mean, you sound then like you've survived through issues yourself as well, and you now thrive rather than survive. So how important is it to survive, and learn how to survive?
It's crucial. As a business owner, as I mentioned, you need to find solutions to problems. And I remember that there were points where I needed to be able to work out how could I live with £5, which is I have only £5 for the entire week.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. And I found myself in that situation many times.
Yeah.
My first business didn't work out. I wasted all my money and I found myself living on the street for 6 months.
Yeah.
Having to be able to feel, and fortunately I was playing an instrument, it's the didgeridoo. I play an Australian instrument. It's a bit weird. I do beatboxing with the didgeridoo, and that paid my food. It paid my rent sometimes, where I was going in Trafalgar Square and busking and just getting money in that way, or bartering my rent.
Yes.
This is something that, if you have the belief or the conviction or the proof that you can live with nothing, then everything else is a bonus.
I totally. We talk.
Talking the same language.
We talk exactly from the same hymn sheet. I mean, so I'm now starting to get shivers down my spine. We could be brothers somewhere from the past.
Probably we are. Who knows?
So finally, just tell me about, because I know that you're doing podcasts. How in podcasts, what are you talking about? What type of things, and what channels? How can people reach on the podcast?
So the podcast is in every platform. It's called Explode Your Expert Business Show, because we work with a lot of people that are experts in their field, and the work that we do is to make money with what they know, with their knowledge. And so in the podcast, we interview other people that are experts in business to give business advice. And I interview people that I look up to. I interview people that I want to learn from. Yeah. And it's a great way to not only build connections, to give back to our community with that free content that we create. Yeah. And it's called Explode Your Expert Business Show in every single platform.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Can you just talk to your camera and just to say how people can get in contact with you now?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to get in touch and reach out, the best way is to visit our website, which is www.gtex.org.uk. So www.gtex.org.uk.
Sir, you've been fabulous this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise as well.
Thank you for having me.
And I know this advice will go a long way with a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the first show of the week with me, Ian Pelham Turner, on ALB UK Television and positivebritain.co.uk. This is the Voice of London. I hope you're having a good day yourself. Hopefully you're not locked down at the moment somewhere in the country, but take care of yourselves and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye for now.